Welcome back. Yesterday was International Women's Day, so kisses and well wishes to all my ladies. Today in this video, I wanted to show you my first ever tool I actually built using AI. It's not an AI automation, it's just a simple automation using Google's app script and Google's infrastructure. But that's exactly what I wanted to show you, because the main message here is that I actually sat down and built something that saves me some time. So that's exactly what we should be aiming for if we want to learn, right? My problem was that every quarter I had to send out annual renewal requests to clients. Not many clients, however, I needed to follow up with them if they didn't respond. On average, I would say it took me 4 hours every month. So maybe it's not a huge thing, right? It's not gonna bring in huge amounts of revenue, convert leads or increase margin, so it's not a game changer, but the main point is that you learn something and you actually implement something. So 4 hours monthly saved, and I'm going to show you how I did it for myself. So first you need to identify what is the thing that you want to automate. You need to remember that AI is trained on all the data out there, right? So when it produces an output, it analyzes the data it has depending on the context and depending on the answer you want, and then it gives you the average answer so that there is the highest chance of you liking the answer, because it's built to get a positive feedback from you. So the tasks you want to tackle first are the ones who are repetitive, doesn't require creative thinking. It's just manual work, manual data input from one place to another. So that's exactly that, sending out emails, repeat the information in them, repeat every quarter. But yeah, for yourself, you don't want to, like, the thinking, the creativity, you shouldn't outsource just yet. There are ways how to use it for brainstorming more efficiently and so on, but to me in my life, especially to learn and to just get shit done, you just first want to start with the most obvious ones. So this is the prompt that I started with. I gave Claude as much context. I use Opus 4.6 model within Claude, and here's what I said. I said, quarterly, I send out renewal reminders for all offshore company owners that are our clients because their renewal is due. I do it manually. I send the email text with the respective company name in the subject line. In the body of the email, I greet each client by name and say that their company is up for renewal. I tell that they need to pay an invoice that is sent in a separate email, and that there is a document or documents that they need to fill out and send back to me to proceed with the renewal. It's one document for some companies and then 4 documents for others. I should send these out on the first day of the month of the respective quarter, and then I should send 3 follow-up emails the closer we get to the deadline, unless they respond. How can I automate this process? I want to spend as little time as possible in setting up the automations. So what I wanted to remove from my workload is sending out the initial email and all the follow-ups. But if they respond, let's say they send me back the filled out documents, or they have a question I wanted to be able to see, then that's where I wanted to take it over, because these questions are very client by client, and I didn't want to get AI involved and trained, because that's a nightmare. That's a big project in itself, and I think many underestimate it unless they have implemented it. So again, try. So yeah, give it as much context. And what I learned, a useful tip that I forgot about is at the end of this prompt, I could have asked Claude to ask me clarifying questions before proceeding with the implementation. So yeah, you implement, you learn, and I'm doing it now with every project I build out. So what exactly did Claude build? It helped me put together a structured Google Sheet with the precise column names. Then it generated a 400 line long code that I then pasted it into Google's app script, which is Google's internal terminal that works with Google within Google's infrastructure, such as so it can like easily and securely access data within your Gmail, in your Drive, in your Google Docs, etc., etc., and it can execute actions within the Google's infrastructure. And it also built Google Drive folders, or told me what exactly to do, how exactly to structure the documents I need to send to clients within my Google Drive, so that they can be added to the emails that go out as the attachments. So this is how it looked behind the scenes. So first step, Google Sheet. You can see here on the screen. So Claude gave me template for the sheet. I then had to go in and manually add the client names, emails, respective company names, pick from the two company types. So as I mentioned, I have one type I need to send one document to, the other type I need to send the other document to. Then the quarter in which they're up for the renewal. And yes, those are not many companies. So this whole project was way more about just learning and getting familiar with the process, and as you saw, like getting better at prompting, etc. Then status, when the email is sent, the status is automatically set to sent. If they respond every morning, Google's triggers scan my inbox. If the client has responded, the status changes to respond and the automation stops. So then if I look at the spreadsheet, I know they have responded and I can follow up with them. And then I change the status manually to paid, which is just for my internal records. That means that they are sorted for this year. I can see the last email date that has been sent within the automation. That is auto-populated, follow-up count, auto-populated, thread ID, auto-populated, and last renewal year, 2026, also auto-populated. Why? Because I want the code to know that, but use the same spreadsheet next year. So next year it's going to erase all the statuses, last email sent, follow-up count, etc., and start again. And Claude told me exactly what to do. It adjusted the code. I just needed to be super clear about my logic, make sure I ask the right questions, and think about possible edge cases, aka like possible issues with the system when I first set it up. You can also just ask Claude, hey, is there anything I'm forgetting? So yes, then it generated a code for me. I have screenshots here. It generated code that I pasted in app scripts, as you can see, 440 lines that I didn't have to write out myself, and they worked perfectly. Love that. And then this is the sample of the first automated email that went out. Super simple, yet it took me, like, the most time consuming part was filling out the spreadsheet built by Claude Code, but it's a one-time thing. I spent an hour on this. Once that's done, I can forget about this forever. This is the email. It's sent out with the attachments. If you want, you can pause, and then the client responded, which automatically was read by my automation, and the status was changed to responded. So amazing. That's the thing. I automated a process that was a pain in the ass for me, but I didn't invent a new tool that I'm not using just yet. I can go into that in my next video, but this was actually super useful to me. So the real wins of this project is not specifically the 4 extra hours I saved. Yes, you can always translate this into various things. Like it means I can go and have 2 extra gym sessions, or I can go on morning walks 4 extra mornings within a month, right? Or I can watch more Love is Blind in the evening. So you can look at it that way. Again, it's not business changing, it's not life changing, but the real win, the actual win of this whole process is just, for me, was getting familiar with the frameworks, getting familiar with the terms, getting familiar with how much context to give to AI, what to think about, what are the things that don't work in the process that I wouldn't have thought about if I hadn't built this thing, learning, learning what to ask. And the final thing, like getting more confident, just saying that you can build something that actually works and you can forget about it. And although AI does it for you, you are the one who needs to sit down in front of your computer and tell it what you want. And then having that confidence that something you put in effort to actually works just allows you to then aim higher the next time. So now it's your turn. Find a repetitive task that you hate doing and just ask AI. Even if you're not sure, you can ask it like, hey, what's the best way to automate so I know how to do it? And what you also might have noticed, like, yes, I used AI, but is this an AI automation? No, right? It's just a basic, quite basic automation that I wouldn't have built on my own, but is now working in my favor. And then one bonus tip I wanted to add in the end. So see this whole visual you see on the screen? This was also built by Claude. So I opened the same chat I used a month ago when I built out this automation. I opened the chat and then I explained to it, hey, I want to do a video walkthrough of my process, what I learned, etc., etc. I want something to be able to show on my screen. I want it as a dashboard that I can move through, right? Can you build it for me? It built me this. I adjusted the wording so it doesn't sound like the average, most predictable answer, remember, because it sounds quite generic. Even if you say make it sound more like a human, make it sound less generic, it still is gonna not sound like you. So I adjusted the wording so it sounds more like me. And within 7 minutes, I had this visual. Within the next 10 minutes, I recorded this video. And within 20 minutes, you have all of this that you can nicely show to someone. And yeah, again, Claude, like if you just think of a task you don't want to do and then think, hey, how can I be more lazy using Claude? Most likely there is a way on how to do it. So laziness wins, laziness helps, as long as you just sit down and do it. Anyway, hope you have a good day. I hope this helps. And if anything, if you have questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll be so happy to help, and have the best day of your life.